you write me off. Allow me to introduce you to what you thought you knew. Thought you found my dark side. Well, let me shed a little light. Your arrogance is vile. Transparent, you can't hide. You've run out of time. Warning before I judging what you think you see. Watching you, watching me. Blinded in your mind. I'm not alone, making me. You're invited to invade. Pull the ring on your grenade. See how far you get. See how fast you fade out. To see how fast you fade out.
It's Mr. Gerald Lord here with a special edition of Another Point of View Q&A. And I've actually got a special guest here with me. Welcome back to the show, my good friend, Mr. Crooklyn Banks. How you been, man?
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
So, the question that I have today, I actually took a look at it earlier, and, well, let's read it, and then we'll break it down. Question. What are you and the cast's detailed predictions about the U.S. elections coming up in November of this year? Now, most listeners might not know this, but Crooklyn, you actually predicted President Trump's victory in 2016. And you actually did this even before the first primary in Iowa. You did it, I think, in late 2015. And, call it luck, call it foresight. In my book, when you're right, you're right. So I'm glad to have you join me for this. So what are your general predictions about the Senate race happening? What do you think is going to happen?
I think the Republicans are probably going to take a few seats.
So you think they're going to end up with more than what they have now? I think right now it's actually 51-49.
I believe so.
So you think they're going to have more than 51 at the end of it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, before we get to that, let's start with the Senate races and what the breakdown looks like. So you've got 23 seats that the Democrats have that are not up for re-election, and the Republicans actually have a very strong lead already. They have 42 seats that they don't have for re-elections. Which means there are only 35 seats being contested. Republicans have to only win 9 races in the Senate just to maintain the majority, and the Democrats need to win 28 races to obtain the majority in the Senate. Now, as bad as that sounds, the good news is the Democrats have a large amount of these races involving incumbents defending their seats. And a lot of races already show them with a favorable lead for a lot of those seats. So it looks worse for the Democrats than it actually is. But we'll break that down further. All right, so let's start with what we basically agreed on were obvious races. You've got the California Senate seat race for Dianne Feinstein, who's a Democrat, going up against Kevin De Leon, who is also a Democrat. So
yeah, California has that law.
Yeah, where the two highest primary candidates face off against each other in the general.
Yeah.
But needless to say, that's +1 for the Democrats. No matter who wins, it's a seat for the Democrats.
Despite Feinstein losing the party support and her being 85 years old.
Yeah.
She's going to die in office. We had to sit through 3 days of people talking about how great and progressive Dianne Feinstein was.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, whether or not she does win is besides the point. Democrats
I do believe that it will make sense that Dianne Feinstein doesn't invite Trump to the funeral.
Okay. All right. New York Senate race. You got Kirsten Gillibrand, Democrat, versus I might be missaying their names. If I say anybody's name wrong, don't take offense. Chel Farley,
Yeah, I think
Republican.
I think if you mispronounce your name, I'm sure they're gonna come after you. It's New York. Gillibrand's gonna win. Although, here's a little future foreshadowing. Kirsten Gillibrand will be the Democrat nominee in 2020.
Yeah, I hear she's making a run for it. So.
Yeah, she kind of jumped in on the Kavanaugh thing, on the whole, oh yeah, believe women, I guess, and then she ran away while all of the other, the crazy ones who have zero political intentions just ran up there, we'll probably get to her later on, but the lady from Hawaii and then all the others.
Okay. So, yeah, Kristen Gillibrand, solidly expected to win the New York Senate race. That's another plus for the Dems. Washington State Senate race. You got Maria Cantwell, Democrat, versus Susan Hutchinson, Republican.
Is it really a plus if they just hold their ground?
It's a plus because they're winning the race, so it's like they're winning it back for another 6 years. +1 Dems in Washington State.
The thing about Washington State is that it's essentially even split. The Democrats hold the West Coast, and the East Coast is pretty rural and right-wing leaning.
Well, yeah, you got large portion of the South is on the East Coast.
West.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's West and East, like that split between the two sides.
Oh, you're talking about the actual state.
Yeah, the state of Washington. Oh, D.C. is Democrat all the way. You can tell by the crime rate.
Okay. All right. We might have listeners in Washington State, so let's take it easy on that one.
I said D.C., not state.
Oh, okay. You might have D.C. listeners.
Oh, what are they going to do?
Needless to say,
how dare you tell the truth about my city?
+1 Democrats. Next race, you got the Vermont Senate race. You got Bernie Sanders. He is an independent, but he generally leans and sides with the Democrats.
Former Democratic candidate for president, Bernie Sanders.
Yes, versus Lawrence Zupan, a Republican. That's going to be a plus for the independents, which leads to a plus for the Democrats.
He caucuses with the Dems. He practically is a Democrat. That's if he ran as a Democrat, he wouldn't win Vermont.
Right.
It's a very left-leaning state, so much so that their governor there is a Republican, but they really don't like New York, so he can sort of skate through with the whole, yeah, I'm a Republican, but I'm really a Democrat running. And all it is just he keeps running against, like, what's his name? New York Mayor Bloomberg. He keeps running against Bloomberg-run candidates. And the Vermont people, since it's a small area, are just like, yeah, I don't want New York to run over. So even if I have to vote for this Republican. Although, when it comes to Bernie Sanders, he represents the socialists in Vermont well. So he'll probably win again.
Yeah. +1 for the independents.
Although I think
leads to +1 for the Democrats.
We got a lot of old people. We got a lot of old people in the Senate.
Apparently, yeah. I don't know what America's doing on that.
Talk about no Senate for young men. Or
Maine,
women.
Maine Senate race. You got Angus King, independent, versus Eric Brakey, Republican. Once again, the independent tends to lean with the Democrats, and he's projected to be a solid win. So you got +1 independents, +1 Democrats. Massachusetts race. You got Elizabeth Warren, who's the incumbent, versus Geoff Diehl, who's a Republican. Warren actually shook off the Native American DNA
I don't know
thing.
about shake it off. She kind of revealed that 6 generations ago, one of her parents or great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents might have been a Native or a Mesoamerican. Oh, whatever. Native American is an ethnicity, not like a birth thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Regardless, having shed the controversy and considering that it's Massachusetts, I think we would both agree it's Democrat. +1 Dems. Rhode Island, you got Sheldon Whitehouse, who's a Democrat, versus Bob Flanders, Republican. Rhode Island, once again, got the Democrat Northeast Coast saying solid +1 Dems. Connecticut race, Chris Murphy, Democrat versus Matthew Corey, Republican.
Yeah, we're just really going through these Democrat plates. Although New Jersey could be a toss-up.
New Jersey,
which really shows you how well those Democrats are doing.
Okay, regardless, Connecticut +1 Dems, New Jersey, as you mentioned, you got Bob Menendez, Democrat, versus Bob Huggin, Republican. No, it's Bob versus Bob.
They both look alike too. Just white guys with white hair.
Solid Democrat +1. I'm calling it. And
I don't know about solid. Again, those Democrats, they seem to be doing such a great job that October surprise may actually just be the Kavanaugh thing, where it's just that backfired immensely.
Maybe, but I don't think New Jersey's going to go red on the Senate.
I don't. It's not going to go red, as in people with MAGA hats running around talking about how great it was that we left the Paris Accord. But I think it's more the lines of those Democrats aren't offering anything, and the Republicans kind of are, even that policy is, how about we don't charge you for taxes, I guess, and maybe we'll have a wall.
Like I said in one of my previous episodes, I do respect Republicans in terms of getting things done. They actually do get things done. Whether it's the right thing or not.
Eventually.
Whether it's the right thing or not, they get it done.
They have to be dragged. They have to be dragged to doing it, but eventually they do something.
Okay, so...
After all, they're called the stupid party for a reason.
Delaware race. You got Tom Carper, Democrat, versus Rob Arlett, Republican.
And what's up with all these generic names? We got Tom, Bob, Chris.
Rob, yeah. But regardless, Democrat
aren't the
wins
Democrats
Delaware.
Like the diversity party? They talk about how diverse they are. They have the most generic names. Like,
this is the
Are these real people?
These are people. These are people. Like, yes, they're
didn't
people.
Obama force a bunch of Arab refugees in there?
We're not even going to talk about that. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's talk about
Maryland.
Let's talk
Ben
about
Cardin, Democrat.
Let's talk about a guy named Ben Cardin and Tony Campbell. Yeah.
Tony Campbell being the Republican. This is the Maryland race. Ben's going to win it. Democrats +1. Virginia race. Former presidential or vice presidential candidate Tim Kaine, Democrat, going up against Corey Stewart, Republican. A lot of people are saying it's a +1 for the Dems. I'm going to agree with that. Virginia has been going blue for a really long time now. Quite a few years. Thoughts? Agreed? Disagree?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, Hawaii. You got, you mentioned it before.
You got
Hirono.
Mazi Hirono.
There you go. There you go.
Who hates
diversity?
There you go. Diversity. We
all the way in the islands. All the way in the islands.
All the way in the island where
in the Pacific.
Yes, in the Pacific Islands where we have Maxine I Hate Men Hirono versus
Ron Curtis, Republican.
Yes, a Republican. I don't know why the Republicans even try in Hawaii.
You got to try, man.
No, you don't.
All right. New Mexico race. Martin Heinrich, Democrat, versus Mick Rich.
There we go. M versus M. Basically, we have these guys are the same names. You got Heinrich and Rich
versus Martin.
I wonder if Mick Rich will just win because people confuse the names. So it's like M. I was told to vote for M Rich. I'm just gonna vote for the shorter name.
I don't think that's gonna be the case. Democrat +1. I think you can agree with that too.
You got to get those illegals to vote somehow.
Pennsylvania race. You got Bob Casey, Democrat, versus Lou Barletta, Republican. +1 Dems. It's Pennsylvania. Trump might have won it in the presidency, but he won it by
Pennsylvania is a blue state that Trump turned red.
It's a blue dog state.
Yeah, he just turned it red.
Yeah. Ohio, you got Sherrod Brown, Democrat, versus Jim Renacci. I might be mispronouncing his last name. He's a Republican, but he ain't winning. +1 Dems. Michigan race. You got Debbie Stabenow. What a name, Democrat, versus John James, Republican.
How dare John? He's such a sexist for challenging a woman.
Oh my gosh, that is not the case. But Debbie Stabenow's winning it. +1 Dems. Wisconsin race. You got Tammy Baldwin, Democrat. Probably has no relation to the actual celebrity. Versus of Volkmir.
I don't know, Volkmir. That sounds a little Russian. For all we know. By the way, here's a little. I have
the Democrats are winning it. Come on, there's no question there. Like these are marked safe, barring some Russian meddling. I don't think that's gonna
Wisconsin
happen.
is not marked safe. It is leaning.
It's strongly leaning. I'm gonna mark it safe.
I say leans.
Democrat.
Leans like
+1.
Michael Jackson in Smooth Criminal.
Minnesota. We're getting close to the end of these safe races, or at least safer races. Tina Smith, Democrat, versus Karen Housley, Republican.
Do they just have these women just fight each other? Just like, all right, there's a woman running.
It's a political race. It's a political race. You got Tina Smith, man. I'm calling it Democrat +1.
Okay, that is likely to be them.
All right. You also got Minnesota's got 2 Senate races. Amy Klobuchar, Democrat, versus Jim Newberger.
Yeah, if your taxes
Republican.
go up slightly, we know why.
They don't control state taxes.
They're
in the Senate. But regardless, Minnesota, I think Minnesota's keeping both seats blue. Democrat.
Yeah.
+1 Democrat. Now let's talk about the safe states for the Republicans. You got the Utah Senate race.
Yes,
It's
we
Mitt
have the
Romney,
return of failed presidential nominee Mitt Romney
versus Jenny Wilson,
Oh
Democrat.
no!
I think Jenny Wilson used to be a reporter, actually. Somebody fact check me on that. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yes, Mitt Romney, the king and leader of the president of the Never Trumpers, in the home state of the Never Trumpers.
He's a Mormon. It's a Mormon state, mostly, I think. And it's a red state. Come on, Mitt Romney winning in a red state. What's the surprise there? I think it's marked safe. I never got an answer on my question on Jenny Wilson. I think she's a reporter.
I will look it up, but I don't care.
Whatever.
Also, really, you want me to look up someone named Jenny Wilson online? I'm sure.
+1 Republicans. +1 Republicans. Wyoming Senate race. You got John Barrasso, Republican, versus Gary Troner, Democrat. It's Wyoming. It's as Republican as it gets. At least I think so.
No, that's another state coming up that you actually considered would lean to the left.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but because it's a small enough population that you get it just enough Democrats. But it's apparently marked safe. So I'm gonna go with the experts on this. Republican, safe Republican. Nebraska Senate race. You got Deb Fisher, Republican, versus Jane Raybould, Democrat.
You got a lot of catfights in here.
There you go. Women are the future right there. +1 Republicans. I think Nebraska's a red state. It's going to stay red. One of the 2 Mississippi Senate races, you got Roger Wicker, Republican, versus David Barria, Democrat. I'm going to say Republican. Mississippi's as red as it goes, so.
You're saying that about every state now.
No, Mississippi. It's red. It's a red state.
Okay.
It's going to go Republican. And that's what a lot of people are saying. You also got the same Senate race, another one in Mississippi. It's Cindy Hyde-Smith. She's the Republican versus Mike Espy.
Actually,
Democrat.
It's a 3-way race because there's another Republican running.
Ooh, I would explain why it's somewhat leaning Republican.
It's not somewhat. It's still. The Republicans have 2 candidates in there. They're probably going to win.
When you divide the vote like that, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm gonna agree with you on that. I think the Republicans win Mississippi. It's a red state.
Well, she's an incumbent, so
yeah, she's an incumbent. Then also,
going up against 2 men.
I don't think that should matter, but
It
Republican get it, and we've got that out of the way. Those are all the safe races, so we've agreed on about 25 races, 20 of which we would say will go to the Democrats, 5 of which we completely agree will go to the Republicans.
I think
Which puts the scoreboard
everyone's just
at
holding their ground here, though.
43 Dems versus 47 Republicans. I'm not so sure about them holding their ground. I mean, some of those are actually, like,
Okay,
it was
yeah,
held
I'll
by a
let-
Republican, and then, like,
Right.
Mitt Romney's new to
No,
the
yeah,
Senate.
Mitt Romney is replacing a Republican.
Yeah, okay. But anyways, those are the safe races. Now let's go to the interesting ones. All right, so let's talk about leading states. You got the Tennessee Senate race. You got Marsha Blackburn, the Republican, versus Phil Bredesen,
I think
Democrat, and he's the former governor of Tennessee. What's your prediction, Crooklyn? Come
I
on.
think Tennessee is going to with red.
So I would agree with you because the experts are also on your side on this. It's leaning. However, let's not forget my girl Taylor Swift. How funny that I bring her up on an episode and
Yes,
she all of a sudden decides to get politically active.
The internet's
First
Ava Braun.
time that she decides to get involved in politics by making a statement. And bam, she goes up against Marsha Blackburn and says she's not voting for her. So
Yeah, and then as soon as she said that, Marsha Blackburn's polling went up.
I don't
Yeah,
buy that. That's
here-
that's just the celebrity backlash. And I know we've done an episode saying that we think celebrities should
Here's the
calm down with their
here's the thing
opinionating.
about that. One, Taylor Swift's fan base is not only in Tennessee. So unless you're going to get a large portion of people moving to Tennessee to vote, I highly doubt it's going to have any effect. Not
I
only
mean,
that,
even if
her
they
fans,
do move, it's too late to register. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. I
Not only
think
that,
that's how the
also a
American
lot of her
system
fans
works.
are too young to vote.
Okay.
And
All
another
right.
factor is early voting. So a lot of these polls that are swinging, that just started to swing towards the red, I'm also sure that some people have voted. Therefore,
Look,
it's safe to
all
say
I'm saying
Tennessee's going red.
all I'm saying is, I think that might be enough to put it into enough of a toss-up. I don't agree with the leaning status. I don't think it's leaning red, and you do have the potential for backlash towards her because of the whole Kavanaugh thing. I'm not entirely sure about it, but I'm predicting Democrats +1 Dems,
Okay.
and you're predicting
I'm predicting
Blackburn winning.
yes.
Okay. All right. See if my girl Taylor could do it.
You don't even own one album. If you did, that would be embarrassing.
That's not. That's regardless. I think she's hot. She's got it going.
No, she's not.
West Virginia Senate race. You have a Democratic candidate. He's the incumbent, Joe Manchin, versus Patrick Morrisey. He is the Republican candidate, and he's the current West Virginia Attorney General. What are your predictions?
Well, he's probably going to get in.
Yeah, Manchin actually agrees a lot with Trump when he votes policy-wise.
Well, he did vote yes on Kavanaugh.
Yeah, so he's probably... But here's the thing. Trump has actually been campaigning in West Virginia to try to get Manchin out. So, and Pence has too, if I'm not mistaken. And Trump's big in West Virginia. I mean, that's coal country right there.
Yeah, but the state did go 40% for Trump.
I don't know, man. I think the Republicans might actually win it in West Virginia.
There's not a single poll that gives you that.
Well, the polls have been wrong before. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, the polls may be heavily stoned, but the margin of error, even if you account for that, it's still Manchin winning.
All right. So you say Dems. Okay. I think the Republican might win it in West Virginia. But all right, that's an interesting turnaround. Disagree on that. Okay. State Senate race. You have Ted Cruz, former presidential candidate Ted Cruz, Republican, versus Beto O'Rourke. Gosh, that last name. Democrat. Beto O'Rourke is actually the current representative of Texas's 16th district. I gotta say, Ted Cruz
Ted Cruz is gonna win.
Look, it's Texas. I know it's a red state through and through. But I think Beto O'Rourke is gonna give him a run for his money. Like, come on, man, Texas is just Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is the epitome of a swarmy politician.
Yeah, so is Mitt Romney, and he's going to be joining him.
I don't think Ted Cruz is as safe as everybody's saying.
Ted Cruz is safe. The polling has pretty much shifted to double digits. He's safe. It's Texas. Texas is not going blue. All you Ben Shapiro fans need to stop listening to that crap.
I'm not a Ben Shapiro fan.
Okay, I didn't say you. I said all you Ben Shapiro
about the other people that think Texas is gonna.
Yes, all the people that are not you, Gerald.
Okay.
That are Ben Shapiro fans need to stop believing that Texas is going to turn blue.
I'm not saying Texas is going to turn blue. I just think this Senate race in particular, I think Ted Cruz is just enough of a dislikable candidate that they'll vote for Beto.
You can say most of the people are dislikable.
Yeah, I mean...
They're politicians.
I mean, the
politicians. You don't elect people you like to office. Because people you like don't run for office.
Yeah, that's the American way. Okay, but I still think Beto might win it. He's not afraid to take it to Cruz. I'm gonna say +1 Dems, Texas.
Right. Yeah, text message here. It's from a something. It says the check is in the mail.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So I take it you're going to say Cruz wins?
Yes. I would really like him to not lose to another, or to lose to a Republican, but we don't live in that world. We live in this world. So Ted Cruz will win.
Okay.
Sadly, he's not
+1 reps per Crooklyn Banks. You heard it here, folks. Okay, now let's do the real toss-up states. Starting it off with Florida Senate race. You got Bill Nelson. He's the incumbent and the Democratic incumbent, by the way. In case you forgot, Florida's a toss-up state in almost every fucking election. And it's versus Rick Scott, the current Republican governor of Florida. What do you think?
Rick Scott actually did have a lead a while back, but then it's gone, like his hairline. So, so it looks like Bill Nelson will retain, mostly because he doesn't really say anything.
Yeah, Bill Nelson's kind of that representative that's just there. If I'm being honest, like, isn't his main thing that he went to space? And
yes,
then,
he was an astronaut.
And not only that, I think Bill Nelson has a working relationship with Marco Rubio. Like, they don't campaign against each other, so he's not exactly.
They're not running against each other ever.
Obviously, they're not running against each other. But what I mean is, you normally have the Republican people who are very prominent in Florida campaign against.
Yeah, given Marco Rubio's results in the Florida primary, I think if anyone he would be primarying for or running in support of, it would probably be Nelson over Scott. At least if Rick Scott wanted him, I
think Rubio Rick Scott does want him, because face it, Rick Scott's.
Well, I know they're
look at how well he's running in Florida with the fucking red tide issue. Like, he's not exactly a great governor.
Of course, he's not a great governor.
I think his record as governor is going against him.
He's a Bush-era Republican who got lucky because he ran against essentially the same guy who switched parties. The former governor that he preceded was a Republican, and then he switched to an independent, and then he became a Democrat.
Charlie Crist?
Yes, who is currently in the House of Representatives. So, good job to those people who thought, yeah, this guy represents me. I was Republican last week. Now I'm independent.
Rick Scott. That's the thing about Rick Scott. I'm not feeling it. I'm gonna say Democrat. I'm saying Democrat. Rick Scott has too much baggage. It's gonna be Nelson all the way. Nelson wins it.
Probably.
All right, +1 Dems. We actually agreed. That was.
Also, I don't even think he ran against anyone in the primary.
Who, Nelson?
No, well, obviously not Nelson. Rick Scott.
Yeah, you might be right on that. I don't remember any particular thing going on. Anybody could win against Rick Scott if we really thought about it, except for somebody who's a flip-flopper. Arizona Senate race. We have incumbent Jeff Flake, who is not running for re-election. So the race is between Martha McSally, a Republican who is representative in Arizona's 2nd District, and she's going up against Kirsten Sinema, Democrat, who is a representative of Arizona's 9th District. So you actually got 2 representatives going up against each other.
Yeah, let's just start off. I don't think any of these people are Republicans. Arizona is a heavily red-leaning state, and if again you're one of these Ben Shapiro style people who looks at Arizona and says they give us John McCain and Jeff Flake, these people are stupid. No. Republicans in the state of Arizona are these old, these generic old people who basically put Jeb Bush in the office over John Kerry. Those are the people that voted for McCain and Jeff Flake.
Jeb Bush, I think you mean George Bush.
Oh, whatever. What's the real difference? Well, one can win an election. This is going to go.
I don't know what you. I mean, Jeff Flake left his seat.
Jeff Flake left his seat.
That's a sign that it might not be leaning towards Republicans.
Jeff Flake left is not running for re-election because 1, he's a beta male. 2, he knows there's no way he can win. John McCain basically needed to whore himself out in his, I'm running for re-election, I'm a total Republican mode, to get the Trump endorsement. And then once he got it, he went back into, bomb everything, the Democrats are really nice guys, President Obama will make a great president, I'm running against him, I mean, I'll make a better president, but don't hit on Obama, even though I'm a Republican and we're running against each other. Oh, I lost? Well, that sucks.
Well, I don't know, man. Kristen Sinema, I don't know.
By the way, if you look up a sign for Kristen Sinema, like one of those lawn signs, there's going to be something missing on those signs, like her party affiliation.
Who brings up their party affiliation on a lawn sign, on a politics sign? Like, that doesn't... I mean, I don't know how the Americans do it, but I don't think that's...
I'm just going to assume that you want to at least show your party, not just your name. Especially, because you want to.
It's the candidate that matters, not the party. Who votes on
the party lines?
Right. Saying that, I realized I was dumb. You're right. You're right. But still, I don't think that should be a big deal. But
well, she's also playing the wage issue by saying, if I'm elected, I'll be the first bisexual candidate.
Wait, wage issue? What? The identity politics?
Yeah, the ID politics. Although I think Hillary Clinton probably beat her to that. By the way, if I do commit suicide, by the time a few weeks after this airs, you know why. I'm imperfect.
All right, if she's doing the identity politics thing, then I really don't think that's gonna.
She's gonna lose. Well, Arizona is a red state, even if the opponent is basically the female version of John McCain.
Okay. With that said,
she does seem to be, at least somewhat pro-Trump, as long as her career fits.
Who, Martha McSally?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say the Democrats pro-Trump. Like, what the fuck?
Well, no, we stopped talking about West Virginia.
Yeah, we stopped talking. Arizona Senate race, +1 Republicans. We're actually in agreement on that one. Okay. Indiana Senate race. This is the state that VP or Vice President Mike Pence is from. You got the incumbent, who is a Democrat, Joe Donnelly, and he's going up against Mike Braun, who is a Republican and was a former state representative. Thoughts?
This is a very close race, although Donnelly will probably win.
Yeah. The fact that it's a toss-up and he's the incumbent makes me think that he's got some kind of baggage. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, normally the incumbent's got a good shot. Indiana's a pretty red state, but I'm going to say Democrat, yeah. Just my gut feeling on that one. +1 Dems.
The polling is on his side.
Okay. Well, that makes me a bit more confident in my prediction. All right. Missouri Senate race. We got the incumbent Claire McCaskill. She's a Democrat. And you're going up against Josh Hawley, a Republican and current Missouri Attorney General. It's Missouri.
This is a very, very close, super close leaning race.
Which is kind of, that's not a good sign when you're the incumbent, when it's really close. Like, it makes you think, man, what kind of baggage do they got?
It is, I'm sort of leaning on Holly taking it because The indecisives are probably Trump supporters. If Hawley is smart, I'm assuming I'm assuming he's smart.
He's a former attorney general. That's got to count for something.
Probably nothing. Yeah, maybe. I mean, Trump's approval has helped the Republicans out. It keeps staying steady in that 43-44 range, which in today's day and age is probably good enough to get you to win an election. And since Trump is the face of the Republican Party, if he comes down there and gets his support, maybe he'll pull it away. I do believe that the polling is a bit like tight.
Yeah, but that's normally a good sign for the challenger. When it's against an incumbent like that, if it's tight, I'm of the opinion that's a good sign for the challenger.
Yeah, but
I didn't go against the incumbent in the last one, Indiana, but that's because I'm just thinking.
Well, neither person has held a 4-point lead in any of the pollings. So
yeah, but
the margin of error is always there.
But I think it's also true that Republicans tend to have better turnout in midterm elections. So I just think Hawley's going to take it. +1 Republican. I think we're good on that one.
Yeah, slightly.
+1. Okay. All right. North Dakota Senate race. You got incumbent Heidi Heitkamp, who's a Democrat, versus Kevin Kramer, who is the North Dakota U.S. representative in the House.
Yeah, this is a right-leaning race.
It's a right-leaning. It's
Yes.
North Dakota. That makes sense. But I'm going to lean with the incumbent on this one.
It does look like Kramer is leaning over Heidi Heitkamp.
Yeah, but Heidi Heitkamp won it in 2012.
So
2012 is like when Obama won the presidency, but most of the Congress went red, I think.
yeah, but Trump is super popular in that state.
That's right. He does those rallies.
Yes, North Dakota.
I still think the Dems gonna hold it. +1 Dems for me.
Nah, this one's leaning red. Besides,
Right.
Heidi Heitkamp.
Yeah, double H.
Heidi Heitkamp.
Double H. Give it to the Dem. No.
No, who
right.
wants to say that? If I were her, I would just make up a name.
Makeup.
Yeah, and also if she did marry a man and have inherit that name, I would basically, I think God will allow her to divorce and go back to her maiden name.
All right. Well,
Again, we did no research for this into the actual people.
we did some research. Don't listen to him, folks. But
You did some research.
I did some research. Yes. You say +1 reps.
I'm saying this is likely to go to this is leaning red.
Leaning red. I don't
Yes.
see that. I don't see that. It's a toss-up. I think the incumbent's going to win it.
Well,
+1 Dems. You
you'll
say
see it in
+1
November.
Republicans.
You'll see it in November.
We'll see in November. Yeah, we'll see who's right. Don't worry. Montana Senate race. We got the incumbent John Tester, who's a Democrat, and he's going up against Matt Rosendahl. I might be mispronouncing it. It might be Rosendale. Republican. Thoughts? It's Montana. That's another red state right there.
Well, the incumbent is Democrat.
The incumbent's Democrat, exactly. So he's doing something right.
Yeah, I think he'll win.
Yep. Democrat. Bam. In agreement. That's pretty good.
Then again, he did win by 20 points, Trump. Trump won by 20 points there.
Yeah, but that's a presidential race. That's different. I mean, who is he going up against? The worst candidate ever.
It's becoming tight.
Okay. All right.
But
Regardless.
I'm still thinking right now, since the Kavanaugh stuff has already come out, the polling is on Tester's side. Still a toss-up, but I'll side with Tester.
Tester. +1 Dems. All right. And last race, you got Nevada.
Which is a three-way race, surprisingly.
Yeah, Nevada does weird stuff. Wait, what? 3-way?
Oh wait, no, sorry, I confused that.
Okay.
I forgot where Gary Johnson was running.
I don't know where Gary Johnson's running. Who cares? You have the incumbent Dean Heller, who is a Republican, and he's going up against a lady by the name of Jackie Rosen, who is a Democrat, and she's a current representative of Nevada's 3rd district. What are your thoughts? It's Nevada.
Yeah, probably Heller.
Heller, how? How do you go with Heller? He's the incumbent on a midterm election as a Republican. He should have every lead in the book, and he's not winning. That's a sign, I think, that it's going to go Democrat, especially because Nevada's been going blue with a lot of presidential races. Yeah,
I
Democrats
mean,
have
he's
been,
not in good shape, but he's still leading.
I don't. Those polls might be in margin of error.
Yeah, I know. The margin of error is still he's still in the favorite, although it's very close. Again, he's not in he's not in good shape, but I still think
that looks pretty bad when you're the you're the incumbent and you're Republican and it's a midterm with higher turnout. I don't feel it. I'm not feeling it for Heller. I think his seat's up for grabs, and I think Rosen's gonna do it. You know, she's already got the chops to be representative in Nevada's 3rd district. So
wow. Yeah, I wonder how red that district is, or where it is.
+1 Dems. That's my prediction.
Okay, I still think he'll hold on.
All right, +1.
He's a man.
+1 Republicans for that shouldn't make a difference for Crooklyn Banks. All right, so what are our final predictions? Based on what I said, I'm predicting a 50-50 split for the U.S. Senate in 2018. And considering Mike Pence is the vice president, that still means that as the tiebreaker, Republicans keep the Senate. Crooklyn Banks is a bit more
I think
favorable for the Republicans.
The Republicans are probably going to get more seats. I don't think they'll lose any election. They'll probably take some seats.
They're going to lose elections. Come on. That's
well, in the Senate.
It's in the Senate.
Yeah, they'll probably take that. They'll probably keep 53.
Yeah, you went
seats.
with I think based on your predictions, you said 53 Republicans, and you're gonna have 47 Democrats, 2 of which are gonna be independents. But 53 versus 47.
Independents in quotations.
Independents in quotations.
Independently Democrat.
Independently Democrat. 53-47. That solidly leaves the Senate in the hands of the Republicans. So that's your prediction. Either way, even with mine and my most favorable predictions, I'm showing the Democrats as pretty much 50-50. Then again, I might be wrong about Taylor Swift.
You are wrong about Taylor Swift.
I think that's gonna be the upset, man. Tennessee, right there. That's
not gonna be an upset.
That could make the difference. But we'll see. 50-50 or 53-47. If anybody's got a prediction different from us, or if they agree or disagree, let us know in the comments below. Next up, governor's races when we get back.
But I won't cry for yesterday. There's an ordinary world. Somehow I have to find. And as I try to make my way to the